Pokémon Legends Arceus is a game that takes a lot of risks in innovation. This results in a fresh experience that remains fun and exciting, but struggles with some glaring flaws. We're here to tell you why. My name's Daryl.
And this is Dion, and this is Where We Stand. All right, let's go into our experience with the games in the past. I mean, we've played a lot of Pokemon, both of us have. I think you've played more than I have. I'm not a diehard fan, for sure. I'm
definitely not a diehard fan either.
Very casual when it comes to Pokemon. For me, typically, Pokemon games seem to be very samey for me, and they don't do a good job of innovation across the board for me, and that's kind of grown, so it's grown stale for me. But I played, I think, from Fire Red, Leaf Green. I played from that generation to Diamond and Pearl. I've seen the newer generations, Black and White 2, but I didn't really play those games, and I didn't have a desire to because it looked, very similar, not really something different for me. Yeah,
and it's the same thing in my case. Like, I wasn't big on Pokemon before, or I should say, growing up, I'm not going to stay on this point long, but growing up, I was a Digimon dude. Very much a Digimon guy. I played like a bit of one of the old Pokemon games on the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color? I can't remember which one. The what was Leaf Green on? I don't remember.
Advanced? SP? SP! That's what it was.
Okay. I remember playing it on a friend's system way back in the day. And then fast forward to the DS era, and I played Diamond and Pearl. Well, Diamond specifically, that was my jam. And then I played Platinum, and that was also my jam. And then I stopped for a while. I know that eventually I ended up playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I know that one was one that was like everyone, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people just straight up did not like. For me, it was a case of it's okay, and that's only because I didn't play a lot of Pokemon games. Like, the only one, and for the same reasons that you didn't. They were kind of samey, and whatever edge they may or may not have had to them was kind of lost over time and whatnot. So if I did play a Pokemon game, it would probably be one of the side games. Like, I remember playing a mystery dungeon. That was fine. I really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, that's the gist of my Pokemon experience. When I saw Arceus pop up, I was like, okay, now you got me a little worried, but it's the good kind of worried when it comes to Pokemon. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yep, and I did play Pokemon Sword, and I thought they did a good job of trying to make it 3D in that game, and I thought that was cool because they were trying something, and that's all I want, is them to try something. I know they're making a lot of money, I know they're taking a lot of sales, but try something new. And
yeah, you make enough money where you can take a risk here and there.
And they did it. Here we are. Yeah. So as we get into Arceus, let's talk about narrative and progression of the game. So story-wise, I mean, I had no interest. You said it was interesting. I thought it was interesting at first how they were kind of doing it, but I mean, obviously it's basic, but that's on purpose, right? It's a Pokemon game. It is targeted at younger kids. It has to be somewhat simple with it can have some mix in. I thought they did an alright job. I'm not against it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I only said it was interesting for the most part because for a Pokemon game, just some of the things they talked about, not necessarily deep, but I think this is one of the only Pokemon games I've played where they've said, yeah, you go out there, you're going to die, and we're going to throw you out there to die if you can't do your job. Like, well, okay, what rating is this game again? I enjoyed the blunt nature of it because it felt like they were aware of the fact that we made this game for, kids, young gamers, but we also know that they're playing people who are older who are going to want to play it. So they gave it's a slightly more serious story than you're used to with Pokemon. And honestly, I was all for it. Granted, is the story enthralling? Is it something that I'm going to want to revisit and do a retrospective on like 5 years from now? Heck no. It's serviceable. But for Pokemon, it gave me the motivation to at least, do work for the village and this, and there.
Really? Because I was skipping it at the end.
The end is where I was the most invested, but that's me.
Yeah, it had the most going for it, but for me.
I get it.
I'm actually going to jump here to ranks and research. So how this game, it took off gym battles. Gym battles are out, which I was really hoping was not the case, but it is. They are out. They're gone. No gym battles. I know that's against me saying I want them to innovate, but it needs to be there needs to be a replacement of how you progress. In this game, it replaces it with 2 systems that are used. So ranks and research. So Pokemon research, you're trying to create the first Pokedex, and your job is to catch Pokemon and learn more about them. So it gives you these cool little objectives with each Pokemon you catch, and they're a little bit different. They're not super, there's not a huge variety. There's some really interesting ones, and then there's like the normal ones, catch a certain amount, catch a certain amount of battles,
beat it this many times,
see it use certain abilities. So there's a couple ways you can get those,
feed it food,
research points. Yeah, and then you can actually pick which things you want to get, right? Like it has ones that give you like double the points, but you can pick which objective you want to do, which I think is awesome. Like this has to stay,
that's nice.
You can kind of see where you want, how you want to complete it. And I think that variety is really cool. And you can just, unfortunately, you probably min-max it and do like what's the fastest, but it is a cool experience. And then the other part of the system is the ranks. So as you catch Pokemon, you get ranks, and this pretty much replaces the gym battles because you're getting the ability to craft, which is a new system, and the ability to use stronger Pokemon, higher levels that will listen to you.
You're also getting different kinds of Pokeballs and stuff like that, more recipes, and money. That's where all your money comes from.
Yeah, very true. And for me, I think this system is I think the system is amazing. I don't think it replaces gym battles by itself, and there is another system that we'll talk about. But it's fun. It's just fun, and it's rewarding.
It's a solid loop.
Yeah, it's a solid loop, keeps you going. You can do that up to level rank 10. It's a very cool system, and I think it's very exciting. What are your thoughts on that, the rank and research system?
I enjoy the rank and sister. Wow, what the heck is a rank and sister? I enjoyed the ranks and research system for the most part. It's what sidetracked me most of the time while I was playing. Like I know I have to progress the narrative and the standard. I know I have to get this game done and whatnot. Not trying to rush it or anything, but sometimes I'll end up spending like a whole I don't know, like a whole few 3 or 4 hours just running around. Like I have Pokeballs. I have 100 of these. I'm gonna lob them at all these Pokemon, and then I'll get sidetracked. And that's one of the. Then I honestly think that's a beautiful thing in a Pokemon game to say like, oh, I was continuing with the narrative, but then I got sidetracked when I saw an Eevee. I'm like, ooh, I gotta get that shit. Get over here.
Gotcha, bitch.
It's a great feeling. And the ranks of research kind of just help reinforce that kind of behavior, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you goals throughout the whole experience, which I think not just the narrative goals, like that rank and research system gives you more goals, and it does encourage you to explore, which is just not my thing, but I still really enjoyed the loop. Up to a certain point, I started to get hesitant with the system the further I got along and started experiencing. Even though they keep adding to it, throughout your experience, I just get tired of the same old throughout it. But it's really cool.
I get
it's a great system. I just want it some more. Let's hit on the boss battles, because that's another part of the system, right? That's how you progress through the story. So the boss battles, I will say, I think this is something they just didn't do a good job with. It's cool-ish, but I don't know why we need a first-person shooter in Pokemon, and a very bad one at that. So I don't get. I don't get why they did this. I would have just been fine with a regular Poke Battle, and maybe some, like, you gotta fight certain people to get there, because you don't have that anymore. Like, you used to have to solve puzzles, right? Like, I don't know why didn't we do a puzzle to get to the boss and then fight the boss? That would have been way cooler than, you throw something at them, you beat them, and then you fight them once or twice with the Pokemon. I thought it left a lot to be desired, and I think they will move to a better system in the future. I think this is the biggest part they can build on.
I agree. This is definitely a good building off point. I didn't feel as against it as you do, but I can say that it does feel like it. The boss battles feel like an afterthought. You're essentially lobbing. So some Pokemon in the game, not going into deep spoilers here, but some Pokemon in the game, I'm going to put it jokingly, really do be angry. And the only way you're going to calm them down is by giving them their favorite food. So you can't just run in there and hit them with your Pokemon yourself. They're too pissed off for that. So what you do is you get their favorite food, you start chucking it at them with the new system that you use to throw Pokeballs in the game and whatnot. And all the while you're doing that, you're essentially dodging AoEs or various attacks from the Pokemon. Some battles are harder than others. I have one in mind that I just straight up was like, how? like why? Why are you doing this? I'm not going to go into details of that fight, but just sometimes it feels a little unfair, especially when they start restricting how much you can move. But at the same time, I can appreciate it for being something different, but it definitely leaves a lot to be desired.
Yes, this is the innovation that I don't think they nailed, but maybe next time. Let's go into gameplay, because I think from a gameplay perspective, I think they've completely nailed gameplay here. I mean, the loop, as we've talked about, is addicting. So they've added so much here. Let's talk about Alpha Pokemon first. I mean, this Alpha Pokemon system, at first I was like not a fan of it. I'm like, oh, I have to go figure out and hunt these Pokemon. Once I realized I can catch them, my whole perspective changed on this system.
And there's some big boys.
Oh, there's some big boys. It is so cool. It's so fun. I already can see how it's going to be at endgame, and I didn't go to endgame. I don't know if you did at all, but
nope, not yet.
I might have to go back because there's no story anymore. There's none of the boring boss battles, and the Alpha Pokemon. Not only are they challenging, but they're interesting. They're Pokemon you want on your party, and they're
difficult to catch.
There's other Pokemon surrounding them, so that annoys you sometimes.
Don't get me started.
And then there's a lot of tricks you can use, which we'll talk about below, how items work in this game. But it's just so cool how you can find these cool Pokemon out the world. They change after you catch the first one, then they change their position. But the first one is located at one spot, right? So once you've catched that or defeated that Pokemon, then a new one will come or a different one will come, and then they'll cycle through. Phenomenal system. I mean, I have no complaints, and it should stay. It should always stay.
Oh yeah, it's an excellent system, and it's very similar in a sense to like how Monster Hunter flows. Like you go out into the map, you're wandering about. There are smaller enemies, or in this case, smaller Pokemon that you can catch and whatnot. But then you have the big boys. They're just roaming around. And granted, they don't roam around as freely as say Monsters and Monster Hunter. They are two different games. But when you see them, you do have a moment of, should I? Yes. Shouldn't I? Did it see me? Oh shit, it see me. That's Aqua Jet. Move.
There is.
You can dodge roll, by the way.
Yes, there's a dodge roll, which is key in boss battles and key in the Alpha Pokemon. And gosh, it's so good. You're right. When you see them, I'm like, oh, am I gonna make it?
Maybe. I don't know. And actually, speaking of dodge rolls and whatnot, that kind of goes into the changes they made to battles overall. Because I was going to mention that you can't use a dodge roll in battle, and I think that's a problem. But at the same time, it's my fault for standing so doggone close to the fight sometimes and getting hurt. Which, by the way, yes, you can get hurt and you can move around in combat, which I thought was refreshing. It's not. There's no reason to. It's just nice. Sometimes I'd like to walk to the other side and just look whoever I'm fighting dead in the eye and be like, I'm about to fuck up your Pokemon. What you gonna do about it?
I mean, the freedom really, that little detail really puts you into the game. Like it just gets you in. And I mean, what a good job. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Also, the fighting and the battles in general are just a lot harder than they used to be. You could have the right type for the right fight be like 20 to 30 levels ahead, and you'll still get bodied if you do something stupid.
Yes.
And that's mostly due to the introduction of the strong and agile systems. Agile being moving, your Pokemon could use a move and possibly move sooner in the later turns, or and sacrifice damage for that. Or you could use the stronger style, hit them harder, but then your Pokemon might not get their turn as soon as they should. So it adds another layer of strategy to that. And sometimes you think you know what you're doing with that. I thought I did. I I've had times where I was frequently like, do I have any more revives? Revive. Okay, get in there. Do your shit. Strong style. Oh no, wait, what do you mean?
Yes.
Okay, next.
Happened. And I lost several times. Like I couldn't believe it. And I was below level, and that's my fault because I got bored with some of the mechanics, so I kept going, and I just wanted to push through the story at the end, which was today, actually.
Yeah.
But and I lost.
As of recording.
And then I realized how I had to go, find a way to catch Pokemon. What I will say about the agile and strong, I thought the system, I was like, oh, this is simple. It is not simple.
No, like there's a lot of forward thinking.
There's a lot going on, and if you can pull up the menu and see the turns, then like, oh, I can use this agile skill, get 2 turns, and I can use strong next. It is phenomenal. I did not realize this literally, and probably till today. Today was the day I realized how ridiculous this system is and how much it really adds to the fighting. Like I just didn't see it until later. I'm like, oh crap. You're telling me I can manage when my turns are going to be, and I have to be careful?
Yeah.
One thing I think they missed, when someone else throws a new Pokemon out, it is very aggravating that they don't allow you to switch Pokemon when they throw Pokemon out.
Yeah, I thought so too. Or at the very least, and I think I can understand this one for balancing reasons, but still kind of rubs me the wrong way. When an enemy or somebody throws out 3 Pokemon, like, fight all of them. I'm like, okay, I got you. I got 3. What do you mean I only get to use 1? Against those 3? I'm sorry, what? Like, don't get me wrong, that makes the fight challenging and really cool and stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, you took away the one thing that, could have definitely stayed, that would have been fine. I don't know. You could have put my other Pokemon's turns, like, later after the other guys if you really wanted to balance it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm just like, you didn't have to take that away.
But you do not lose a turn for switching Pokemon, which is nice.
No, you don't.
But it does feel like if you beat a Pokemon, they can put a Pokemon that's your weakness and you get destroyed instantly. And you can't do anything about it. And I don't like that, but there's a strategy to that. And that's like PvP in this game, which I'll never do, will be great. Great. It will be great. That's all I can say. Let's talk about travel in the open world. So the traveling system, very simple. They trolled everything in trailers. I mean, literally everything with the travel system is in the trailer. So one detriment, the Pokemon you have to use is the Pokemon you have to use. There is not multiple Pokemon, and it's not on your team. It's just like, it's like a mount in an MMO.
Yeah, it's just a mount.
Not different at all. And a
very useful mount, but still a mount.
Exactly. And in that system, it allows you to traverse the world. And I think, are they good? Yes. Yes, they are good. They have extra little mechanics with each one. They get you different ways to get around the world, and it can encourage you to go back to other places and find ways to catch other Pokemon in places you couldn't reach. So it's a good system. It really is, and that's all I can say about it.
You can seamlessly transfer between the two. Between the, I'm gonna call them mounts for the sake of this.
4 or 5 mounts.
You could transfer or switch between them, I should say, on the fly too. So like if you're riding one mount on land, then eventually you're gonna hit the water. You would think, oh no, as soon as I hit the water, I'm gonna fall off this mount. Then I'll have to quickly spawn the next mount because you can't swim in this game.
Nope.
Why?
Not like this.
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand.
Yeah, but whatever. But then once you have that water mount, then you just seamlessly transition into that next mount, and then you come out of the water and you seamlessly transition back to the ground mount. And if you're falling, if you press A, you're on the flying mount. If that flying mount hits a rock or a mountain in the distance, it'll prompt you, hey, do you want to use this one to climb it? Yeah, you could probably just speed run around the map doing that alone. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good. I didn't even think about the buttons. Yeah, where it just tells you, hey, you should use this guy. Phenomenal.
Unless you want to die, because there is fall damage.
It's phenomenal. I mean, what a good job they did. The only thing is, in the future, I want to be able to use different types of Pokemon that have the ability to do the same thing, and it's a Pokemon you have to have in your party. I would love that. It restricts your party. It'd be very interesting. So I get it why they wouldn't do it, because you kind of lose options in your party too. But that's something I want to see. Let's go into items, because I think the item system is also just well done. I mean, there's so many items. I didn't understand how useful they were until I really started. I mean, this kind of goes really back to your Monster Hunter comparison even more. I mean, the way you can throw. Oh gosh, it makes me want to play Monster Hunter now. We're gonna have that. That's gonna be on here soon. So we have different items that you can throw, make Pokemon go to sleep and eat. The Pokeballs, which you don't have to get in a battle, you can catch outside a battle. Things that aid you in sneaking around, so you can surprise Pokemon with either a battle and get the advantage.
You got that, or you got that Assassin's Creed Ghost of Tsushima grass. You could just sit.
Yes, it is the amazing.
Throw
amazing.
Out there. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of the items, and please let them stay. Please.
I agree with this.
That's. I mean, it adds so much, even to the alpha Pokemon. Like, it just adds so much to the game by itself. And figuring out, like, what do you use and stuff, the guides online. Oh, what do you use? And looking at guides and that kind of stuff. It adds so much to the game that I there's nothing. I mean, wow.
Yeah. I have nothing else to add to that. It's just that good.
So let's go into honorable mentions. So you mentioned the soundtrack in this outline here. I can't say I noticed it, which means it was probably good. So what are your thoughts on the soundtrack?
Overall, I think the soundtrack of the game is really good. There are a lot of remixes from, the Diamond and Pearl era, because again, this is Sinnoh. It's the Diamond and Pearl. It's Diamond and Pearl, but way back in the old days, essentially. It's Sinnoh in the old times. And my only problem with the soundtrack is that the BGMs don't play often enough. Like, typically in Pokemon games, we reach a route or whatever, you just kind of go along that route and whatnot, and the music's almost always playing. There's never a moment where it's not playing, unless you're in a creepy area or something like that. In this game, it's like the breaks between tracks are too long sometimes, and I get sometimes that's just to fill in the ambience. It's to play the little light piano riffs and stuff like that, to like color what you're doing and stuff like that. But when the music isn't playing and there's story stuff going on, because the game doesn't have voice acting and whatnot outside of the player, when you roll or get hurt, they say oof, Link style, and whatnot. It makes those scenes very, not gonna lie, boring, just like drab. So I feel like the moments when the music does play, it stands out and it sounds great, but it doesn't happen enough. That's about it. Unless you're in a battle, that's different. To which then, yes, the battle themes kick ass.
Got it. Well, let's talk about graphical design. So this is where they actually hit and miss here. So the miss, as everyone probably knows by now in every single review, is the world design is awful. It is filled with the most amazing Pokemon and experience, and how you play in the world is great. The actual design, even where they place grass, you can tell it was an afterthought, and they could have done a better job. I don't even know if it was an afterthought. Maybe they actually attempted to do their best job with it. They haven't designed worlds like this in the past, or not very often, right? So it's really a new territory. The closest you got was like the little open area you got in Sword and Shield. That's it. Yeah, that's the closest they get, and those weren't amazing either. But I'd argue those might have been a little better. But the world does work with the design of the game, right? Like, it really works well with the game, the design of the game. It just doesn't help with progression because you go to one map. So they could have done better with the world design. Everything else, though, 10 out of 10. Nothing else to say. I mean, the characters look great, better than ever. You can have different customization on how you want your character to look. They have the Pokemon, the detail in the Pokemon. Someone spent way too much time. So good. Mm-hmm. And then the scale, right? The scale of how the Pokemon feel in the world and how big they are feel realistic. It makes you feel like, wow, I'm actually immersed in this Pokemon world. They did such a great job on the immersion aspect. Even though you're dealing with a boring world, seeing all those Pokemon in there and what size they are, and I know that Pokemon, and yeah, he was that big in the TV show when I used to watch 10 years ago. That is so good, and I just never thought you'd get here with Game Freak, and they finally did that. So good.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So good.
I don't have anything else to add to that, honestly.
All right. Well, let's close with our final thoughts. So for me, Pokemon Legends Arceus it's such a good game. It is by far, for me, the best Pokemon game. And I know that's a huge statement, but it is. Because it makes you so immersed in the world. Though there has its low points and some boring points, it's still so cool seeing the Pokemon right next to you. It's so cool traveling the world, and it's just a great experience overall, gameplay wise. It does have flaws. It's not a perfect game, right? So it has flaws in the world design. It has a couple flaws in how the world's built, and the quest and narratives aren't super interesting. It could be better, but the way everything ties together and how they make everything work, I think they did such a good job. I am so ready for them to expand on this. There's so many possibilities that can go. They could take this and go into a traditional Pokemon game. They could take this and expand on what this is and make, hey, this is going to be a new thing. We build Pokedexes. I mean, they could go so many different routes with this that I am just so excited at such a great foundation that they laid. And yes, we had to go through some growing pains here with a few things, but man, is this makes me excited for Pokemon again, which I haven't said in a very, very long time.
Same here. And in my case, Pokemon Legends Arceus is a breath of fresh air for those of us who have been craving for a new kind of Pokemon game for a while. The visuals on themselves need a lot of help, and the environments are serviceable but drab. Yet that didn't stop me from having a blast with the game. In fact, it just might be my casual go-to game when I'm just on my Switch and nothing else is around me and I don't really have anything else to play. Because, like we were saying earlier, the gameplay loop is a lot of fun, and after you're done with the game, you can keep playing. You can just keep going. And I think that's really cool.
Yep. DLC. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
just add gym badges. We're good.
Oh boy.
Alrighty.
We'll see what they do.
I think that's all we've got for now. Thanks for you all to stop in through here to listen here at DuoQ. If you think we have glossed over something, feel free to say so in the comments. Don't forget to share and leave a like. Next time you're waiting for a party or searching for a lobby, feel free to tune in again while you wait. See ya!
There, guys. Oh, and since Game Freak is experimenting with the Monster Hunter formula, I think we can get a sequel where we can carve Pokemon. I really want to wear Diglett.